do you think about it?
Obviously, we're having some technical difficulties. I think they got them. I think Daryl has it solved. He's just trying to get the picture together. So no, Grizz, we don't want that. The little kids need Santa. You know, not that we do or don't, but you know, the grandbabies do. Oh, Patricia, I bet. And I can't even tell you what road, or all I know is when you drive to where the beach is at the front, I suppose, by the town of Canandaigua. If you go over to the left and down the main road and up a hill, last name, one of them is Phillips. They have a cabin, and my aunt and uncle Formicola had another cabin. They're right up from each other. Loved going there. Loved it. Hey, Grandpa's Place, how are you? Glad to have you here.
Okay, well, let's see if we can get Michelle in here before we lose her.
Yeah, Carl, it was nice doing the 3D visit on Friday and Saturday, wasn't it?
Okay. Well,
there we go.
Apologize about the rocky start. My heavens. But for some reason, we had a problem with getting the sound, and I still hear a little hissing in the background, but we'll see if we can...
We'll take the hissing for now.
Yeah, Michelle, something, let's make sure everybody can hear you.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you all? I'm used to being in the chat here, you know, and I'm not in the chat tonight, so I'm on camera. Woohoo!
Okay, so now...
So...
No, I'm just waiting to see if somebody responds that they can hear you okay or not.
Okay. Can you hear me all?
Yep.
Sounds good. Loud and clear. Good. There we go. All right.
Oh, good. Woohoo!
Old Alabama was afraid he was going to have to dance again, because that's why I said he'd do a dance routine for us.
Well,
I just don't ask me to do a dance routine.
Yeah, well, he said we have him again on the 25th, so he may do it then.
Okay. There we go. Well, you know, all day long, I was sort of, this is a little nerve-wracking, but you know, I'm happy to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Next best thing to having somebody in person, real.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. 2D, not 3D. 2D.
3D. Yeah, 3D is one. Yeah,
or maybe 1.5D.
2D. Yeah, or 1.5D. Yeah, we were 3D on
probably.
Friday and Saturday. Yeah, we met. A couple of people, Carl Bright, he's on here. We met him and his wife Friday and Saturday, and some other folks. Doug and Stacy were at Lehman's here in Ohio. So
wow.
It was a good weekend. Hey, Chef. Oh, Coco wants, you need more Canadian drawl from Michelle. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you know,
Yeah,
that's
really, you know.
That's it.
Yeah,
so,
well, you know, I guess, all over Canada, there's different accents. So, I'm pretty close to the border when you think of it. So, I guess it's maybe similar to U.S. could be, how I speak. So.
Which border? Like, if you went over one of the bridges, which one would you be going over?
Yeah, Buffalo, Niagara Falls, New York.
Yeah.
That would be probably an hour and a half drive from where we are, depending on traffic. Okay. There's always construction on the road.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's where we would go.
Okay. Well, that's usually if we went to I think it was Hamilton. When I was a kid, I have family in Hamilton. I think Mom and Dad got off, went to the one in Buffalo. if I'm not mistaken. We also had family in Niagara Falls and oh gosh, what was that? Crystal Beach. I had cousins.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I had cousins own a boarding house. Crystal Beach. We used to go there every summer.
We have relatives in Rochester, and
so I was
we didn't go
Rochester
this year. We usually go every year.
Mm-hmm. Yep, my hometown.
Yeah, we usually go every year, not this year though. So I'm kind of getting used to this, the bit of the lag. So I have to, get used to that.
Yeah.
With our conversation here.
B lady, she would be close to you, isn't she?
B lady is probably the closest American YouTuber for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because isn't B lady in upstate New York?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, she says right there she lives 5 minutes from the Lewiston Bridge to Canada.
Oh wow, Queenston, Lewiston, yeah. Yeah, I think on our side we call it Queenston. On their side they call it Lewiston, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We've gone over that bridge so many times, so there we go. So how's this? Let's see. Great.
If anybody has any questions, Michelle, make sure you put them in all caps. If we don't grab them, I know one of our moms or somebody else will do it. Grandpa's place. You've been to Rochester, New York, huh? Yep. I was born there.
Loads of times.
Yep. I didn't have a choice when they dragged me kicking and screaming to Ohio. I was only 3.
Right. Well, let's see. How is everybody in the chat tonight? I guess I should start about how I started my channel. So I think it was
you were eating the candy,
I uploaded a couple of random videos in the beginning, but then it sort of became, cooking, a bit of canning, a bit of travel, a bit of genealogy. I think and gardening, of course. So that is a lot of what I've done on my channel. I started with that. And then what happened was, when they started to give the warning about the YouTube editor going away, I kind of got, I started to add music to videos or pictures. And then, I really kind of realized the impact of this. I mean, YouTube was so ambiguous in their explanations as to what would be left in an editor. I wasn't sure if I'd even be able to attach music. So I made a lot of videos, many of which actually are not published yet. I made a lot of videos thinking I wouldn't be able to attach music after they got rid of the editor. Mm-hmm. But it so happens you can still attach music.
Cool.
And really in their explanation, when you read the fine print, they didn't really say anything about music. It was so ambiguous. So I guess my channel is about a lot of things now. And I enjoy it. It's kind of like an escape, Yeah. I find YouTube really fun.
Well, Coca wants to know, can you tell us how you get started in genealogy?
Well, it depends. I guess, you look for free things. So you would I would start with census records, because there are a lot of free census records online. The United States, United Kingdom, Ireland, all of that is free. So you start with what is free. That's what I did. But eventually, you do have to pay. You do have to pay money. I would get a subscription to Ancestry if I were starting out. Mm-hmm. It also makes accessing a lot of free records easier. if you have a subscription to Ancestry. For instance, the Irish church records are now free. But to search through a church record, you would have to go through a whole year. I mean, it's free, you can do it, but if you have a subscription to Ancestry, Ancestry will give you a hint, and it will take out a lot of work for you.
There's another program similar to the Ancestry. I think it's Heritage, My Heritage. That one's a free one up to.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and that's what I started with, and got a lot of the family on my dad's side, my mom's. I have a cousin in Toronto. He's a lawyer, but he has done.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he has done all of the digging and everything for my dad's side of the family. So he has this huge. Wow. Yeah, he's done really well with that. But he's a lawyer and has money, and he can do that stuff. So. Let him do it.
It does cost money, that's for sure.
Well, Grandpa's place is asking if you're single.
I am single. Yeah, I'm single. Yeah, I'm single.
Half Acre Dreams wants to know, how did you come up with the name of All Sorts?
Just, it was quite random. Because I probably started the channel. I mean, I had the channel before I uploaded videos. I had another channel before. I think I uploaded a couple of videos. It was just totally random. I mean, it's likely I wanted to comment on something, forgot my login for the old channel, created a new channel, and it ends up being really what my channel is about.
I thought maybe you liked the candy.
I do. Oh, I like the candy a lot, definitely.
Oh, yeah. That's how I knew the name, because of licorice.
Sorry?
Patricia Conley's asking, how long have you been canning?
I have been canning since 2012. However, pressure canning since 2012. I used to water bath can, but I purchased my pressure canner in 2012, and that is when I got into, canning low-acid food. I do prefer pressure canning. In my kitchen, I don't have very good ventilation, and I find the spluttering of water with the water bath canner a little bit more than my kitchen can handle. So, I don't have an extractor fan over my stove. I do have a fan that's vented in my ceiling. It's not great. So pressure canning, yes, since 2012, and it's my preferred method of canning. I will even do my tomato sauce in the pressure canner. Mm-hmm. It's less moisture in the apartment, Otherwise, it gets pretty moist.
Yeah, so, you're going to see bubbles on your ceiling.
Yeah, and it's not pretty. So, I mean, I have to kind of look into getting an extractor fan. Being in the condo, I don't know how it would work. This condo was built as a rental, I think in 1972. And 1 year later, it became a condo corporation. So it wasn't built as a condo. Mm-hmm. It's not plumbed for, washers and dryers and such in the unit. It is really built as a rental. So I'm not sure what I can do with that, but yeah, too much moisture. My plants love it, but it's painful.
Oh yeah. The walls and the ceilings with the paint.
Yes, which I painted over a number of times. So, it's kind of a mess. But, yeah, so, I've taken part in some of these canning collaborations and whatnot, and some cooking collaborations. I find that fun. I certainly, I don't participate in every sort of collaboration, but it is fun, to do that sort of thing. So that's what I've been doing lately. I hadn't done a cooking video or a canning video in a long time. until a recent collaboration. So I've kind of gotten back into that with my channel. So, and I uploaded a video about an agricultural fair, a famous, well, in Canada it's famous anyway. Yesterday I uploaded that. Yesterday, I think, yeah. So, you know, it's really, I'm doing a lot of different things on my channel. I mean, if I'm out and about and I see some sort of art installation, I photograph that and I make a video about it. So
we have a question here. Half Acre Dreams is asking if you were born and raised in Canada.
Yes, I was. I am. I was born actually in the part of Toronto. I live right now. I live in the suburbs. I don't actually live in the city. I can see the city from where I live, but I don't live in the city. And I work in the city. So yeah, I've been born and raised here. So
now you have a garden now, even though your immediate location does not have land per se for a garden. So share with us what it's like to have to rent a piece of property for a garden.
Well, this is a garden allotment. It's not a community garden. I used to have a community garden years ago, and it was a nominal price, basically the deposit for a key. Whereas this garden, I pay $87 and change a year from the city of Toronto. It's a permit. And, you know, you don't get a lot. I mean, I do get a bit more. But, you know, you can't bring your car in. That's really hard for people, not being able to bring their car in. But I get the same plot every year. So it is, you know, it would be nice to go in my back garden, which I don't have, but, you know, if I could go outside to water, go out, pick a few things for dinner. I mean, I'm lucky to have my garden allotment, but sometimes it is hard to motivate myself to get there. Now, I've had this since 2012, this particular garden allotment, and there's been a couple of years where I was not enthusiastic, and I just sort of went with it. I did my best, because I realized, you know, there's going to be years where you're more interested, and there's going to be years where you're less interested. So this year, I was very interested. A couple of years ago, they tried to take it from me. I was really lucky, though, because I had posted on Facebook pictures throughout the gardening season. And they had accused me of abandoning my garden. Now, I think it was the person behind me, because that person did not garden that year. Maybe somebody mixed up the number. So what I did was I emailed them back, and I sent a link to I made that album on Facebook public temporarily, right? And I sent them a link to the album. You know, so if not for social media, it would have been really hard to prove I was actually there that year. So, I mean, they make mistakes too, and they mix things up. But it is fun to garden there. There's people from all the world.
How big of a piece of property is it, or your allotment?
Oh, gosh. You know, to estimate it, I would say it's more than 20 feet one way, maybe 20 feet by 30 feet, okay. I think.
Okay.
It's pretty big. And I mean, I have to admit, everybody sort of extends their plots just a little bit. You're supposed to leave space between. Everybody kind of encroaches that space slightly, you know, to give themselves a bigger plot. So I admit on that as well. I mean, one year I planted black raspberries, something like that. They weren't raspberries. So that was a mistake, because what would happen is, you know, they send out, you know, their shoots out, and, you know, it goes right into the pathway, and people would trip. So I had to pull those out this year. I had to get rid of them because, you know, they were dangerous. So, you know, you can't grow everything. You would be able to grow at home. You have to kind of grow things that work. For instance, Jerusalem artichokes, sunchokes. What a flippin' mistake. I have so many of those, and I have them in one little area. But you have to harvest them after a frost, okay? Well, technically, according to my permit, I can't go now. So I can't harvest them. Every year they die down. They grow up even thicker. Now, I could go in and try and harvest them. You know, I have the key, but I'm really not supposed to. And I mean, considering they tried to take my plot away from me once, I ain't chancing it, okay? Yeah. So I might have to dig these up next year because they're a nuisance. You know, they're quite invasive. So you kind of live and learn.
It's true.
As you go.
Well, here, BC Truck is asking if you can tell us the story of Walter Turner.
Okay, so yes, Walter Turner. Okay, first I kind of endeavor to research a lot of relations and research if they did World War I service so I can commemorate them. And of course, he is one of my relations. He would be the first cousin of my grandmother. So Walter Turner's own grandmother would be my great-great-grandmother. So, I mean, I accessed a lot of records about him at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission and on Ancestry. And I put together a little video about him. He died of, I think, malaria fever, and he was buried at sea. You know, a lot of soldiers, or he was, you know, in the Royal Navy Fleet, but a lot of men in World War I mean, naturally, a lot of them died in battle, but many died of things like tuberculosis, illness, because the conditions were so bad. So he died of malaria fever. So, yeah. I have researched a lot of relatives, and some of them are very remote, but I do endeavor to do that. You know, sometimes you end up finding pictures of people, and like we said in my promo, or the promo that Daryl made, if I find pictures, I upload them to that site. It used to be called Every Man Remembered. It's now called Everyone Remembered because there were a lot of women that died in World War I. Mm-hmm. Nurses, primarily, right? So, yeah, they kind of changed it to a more politically correct term, but it is a really nice site, you know. I've had a lot of journeys with Ancestry. There is one in regards to my great-grandfather. I couldn't find his World War I records, but originally I didn't even know he was in World War I. We just had a photo that my cousin had given me, and we wondered, well, what kind of uniform was he wearing? So I asked my mother's siblings who were alive at the time. Nobody knew. So I posted this photo in the Great War Forum, and they were able to identify his uniform. So, you know, I had to make that picture public, okay? So I had good reason to. And I started looking on Ancestry for his records. Now that I knew, you know, it was a Royal Marines Labor Corps uniform. So there were no records for him. So I contacted the National Archives in London, and they emailed me back saying, oh, everything is on Ancestry, everything is on Find My Past. Well, his wasn't. So I looked in their digital catalog called Discovery, and I sort of saw some records, but I wasn't sure. So I went back to the Great War Forum, and a gentleman found 2 files for me. Now, in the meantime, because my mother's siblings didn't know anything, it wasn't talked about. I contacted some of my mother's cousins, and one of my mother's cousins wrote me back and said he was in France. So I booked a flight to London, and I went and got his service records for World War I. So, you know, at the age of 81, my mother found out for the first time that her own grandfather was in the First World War. And it just wasn't spoken about in her family. I guess, you know, at the time of the First World War was also a very tumultuous time in Ireland with regards to the road to independence. So I guess, you know, my great-grandfather would have gone to war with the oppressor, right? And it just was never talked about. So, yeah. You know, I've gone on a lot of journeys for this sort of thing. And genealogy does cost money in some cases, you know. And it is what it is. That same great-grandfather, I could not find his 1901 census. Now, in Ireland, most of the censuses started in 1841, and most of the census documents from 1841 to 1891 were pulped during the First World War. They were destroyed. So what is left in Ireland are some extracts pre-1901, but 1901 and 1911 census are still are available. Now, I could not find this great-grandfather and his family in the 1901 census. So again, I had to go to the National Archives in Dublin in person. They, of course, looked, couldn't find him. And it was, his census document was of the 1% that never got digitized accidentally. So, you know, you have to, sometimes you do have to, you have to go somewhere else to find your records. Not everything is online, you know.
That's true.
So,
it's a quarter till. Daryl, you want to do a trivia?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's get one started here. So sit back, Michelle.
Kombucha.
You make your own?
I do. I brew it. Yeah.
I haven't tried it yet.
I've done it for a while now. It's like, you know what, Cher, it's a commitment. Once you start it, you know, you have to babysit it. You can't stop. That's just my experience with it. So it's another responsibility.
Yeah. I want to try it. I want to try it.
Okay. So, trivia time. First question. Let me go over the rules very quickly. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded on the stream here at Two Family Homestead. And you must send us an email with your address, please within 48 hours, to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. So, having gone over the rules, here is question number 1. Name something all sorts won't can again.
Get out that Jeopardy music that we're not allowed to play.
Yeah. Boy, did we stump everybody?
Yeah, it got very quiet.
Name something that all sorts will not can again.
Thanks for stopping, Carl. Have a good one.
Artichokes is not. Salmon is not.
Oh, salmon sounds good, though.
Yeah, I've never canned fish. Yeah, that ought to be interesting.
Yeah, neither have I.
Bacon is not.
I love canning bacon.
Kohlrabi is not. And Bob can't answer.
ZJ, after the live stream is over, I will go over to your channel. Do you have your email on there in your about page, or if you want to put your email down here or send it to us, twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com, we can send you the information about it.
Frog legs is not good. Long pig is not good.
And Half Acre Dreams. Why didn't I watch that video? Cabbage.
Well, that is a good guess.
Sauerkraut.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't I would never can sauerkraut, because the whole point of sauerkraut is the good bacteria, and you'd kill it. Well, you know what? To be honest, although I did not include cabbage in those answers that I gave you, Daryl and Cher, cabbage is true. I wouldn't can it again. But I don't think I said that in my video.
Well,
Kimchi.
No, yeah. So you wouldn't want to can kimchi because you'd kill the bacteria.
Yeah. Isn't that that's a fermenting thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a kimchi video, and I'm going to put out another one soon. It's waiting to be published.
Well, Brenda Duncan is the one that answered cabbage, or guessed cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you.
Yeah.
If that's a good answer.
It is a good answer. It's true. I did can it once, and I would not can it again. Because for me, I'm not doing a lot of vegetables anymore. I'll can corn, I will can green beans, but something like cabbage, I'll ferment it and get the benefit of the good bacteria. So I do think that's a correct answer. Yes.
Bob said he'll sell the answer for $1. Okay, so who got that one right? I'm sorry.
Brenda Duncan.
Well, we know Brenda Duncan. She's 1/3 of the Oreo cookie. Isn't that right, bee lady?
Oh, and yeah. Yes. There is another answer. But anyway.
Oh, we got that one. That's fine.
Have we established that Brenda Duncan?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
I have her name down, Brenda.
Okay.
Just email us at twofamilyhomestead.com with your address, and I will get you a crisp $2 bill out in the mail for you. Road trip. Bee Lady and I and Brenda Duncan are going on a road trip. Bee Lady has to wear her black and yellow shoes. Grizz wants to know what the real answer was, Michelle.
Sorry? What the real answer was?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so after we established it was Brenda Duncan, Daleth, Tennessee, Daleth TN said carrots. Now that is in a video, but that was, quite a while after. Carrots, I would not can sausage again. What else was it? Black beans, certainly not in a pint-sized jar anyway. Anyway, yeah, but definitely not sausage. I tried it, and it really damaged the texture. Now, that could have been my quality of meat, but I didn't like the texture of it. So, grape jelly. Yeah, that was one of the answers, grape jelly, because I had said that in one of my videos. It's very simple. I'm looking for a challenge, right? So, yeah.
Any more questions? Put them in all caps and we will get to them. Yeah, we have a meetup in Michigan on Wednesday morning.
Wow.
If any of you watch our half-acre homestead, Bev, over in Canada, her husband, Howie, has some training this week in Michigan, and she's coming along with him. And we are all, there are some of us, I shouldn't say we are all, some of us are going to meet up with her Wednesday morning, so get to meet some more folks. And
it's amazing how many people, it's amazing how many people she has inspired on YouTube, because there was that, the video that Daryl did with my promo was a part of a tag, and in that tag, so many different people said our half-acre homestead.
I did.
Inspired them on YouTube.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Linda's Pantry, our half-acre homestead, over and over. It's amazing. Great channels.
Bee Lady is asking if there are many homesteader-minded or beekeepers in Canada.
Gosh, Bee Lady, I don't know. I'm a city girl. Interesting. I wonder what they would think if I put bees on the garden allotment, eh? Probably some rule that you can't, But I think, the hydro fields where my garden allotment is, it's a massive hydro field that spans all the way through Toronto, okay, and suburbs. They should do bees in those hydro fields, But being in the city, nah, Now Toronto is doing this experimental thing with chickens in the future. It's not set in stone. It's just an experiment. Like, I do like where I live, but sometimes I feel strangled by the rules. There are a lot of rules. It is a good place to live, but sometimes the rules just kind of drive me nuts, Like at the garden allotment, not being able to bring a car in. Now, people do bring a car in, okay? Good for them. Hats off to them. But how do you carry compost through I've done it. I do it all the time. There is a place to park at the garden allotment, but still, to get into the fenced area, you've got to haul, right? So just too many rules. You can't do this, you can't do that. So kind of annoying sometimes. But, I guess I'm lucky to have my plot. I have to think positive. So.
Grizz, I got you on that. Mapleberry Farms. Mapleberry Farms, Grizz is putting you up to be a guest on our live stream. So I may be emailing you.
Yes.
Coco, thank you for putting up the links. BC Truck wants to know, what is a hydro field?
Okay, so a hydro field is where the hydro towers are, right? So the field is owned by the hydro utility, and it's maintained by the city of Toronto. So, that's our hydro. It's a part of the grid, right? So, yeah, it's interesting enough. I live very close to that hydro field, and we often get little blackouts and stuff. So weird, but.
Backwoods Raised had a question. Okay, let me go back and look for it, Spicy. Let's see. Got a lot of Canadians on tonight. Awesome.
Yes.
Rusty, this time it's a road trip that's only 3 hours, not 14 plus. Gosh, road trip home was a killer. Spicy, I don't see your question. I'm sorry. Can you post it again? I really don't see it.
I don't see it either. And Wanda's in here somewhere. Crazy days.
Yep, There is.
Yes, and Life of a Mill Life. Yes, the next time you come to Ontario, let's do a meetup. Are you coming to Toronto by any chance? Come on down to Toronto.
Population
there we go.
38
yes,
million.
I see bases.
5% are homesteader, farmers, ranchers. There is a massive bee farm right across the tracks. Karina, there you go, bee lady. Oh, Kelly B wants to know if you can wild game.
No. You know, I wouldn't even know where to access it, right? Because I'm a city girl. But I think BC Truck has he put beet kvass in the chat. Did he have a question about beet kvass? I do ferment different fluids. So beet kvass is one of the fluids I ferment. So I do milk kefir, water kefir, beet kvass, and kombucha. So yes, I do ferment beet kvass, and I do have a video for on. So I guess, you know, doing the fermenting, like, although I do can meat, I do can some vegetables. When I started fermenting, I kind of stopped canning some vegetables, with exception to, like I said, corn and green beans, right? Just because of the beneficial bacteria you can get out of fermenting. And it's really easy. And it's so healthy for you. So I do, yes, BC Truck, I do beet kvass. So, you know.
You want to do your
What
second
can I say?
trivia?
Sure.
I know they're a little bit close, but we got a little bit late start.
Yes, we did.
Rusty, have a good one. Thanks for stopping.
Okay, let's do the second trivia question here. Let me get this brought over.
Spicy said one of the first videos he watched was the powdered kale. Michelle.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
I do a lot of dehydrating vegetables as well. So,
Cool.
yeah.
All right, let me go over the rules real quick here. You can only win once every 4 weeks. You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it is received and recorded on the stream here at Two Family Homestead. And please send us an email with your address within 48 hours to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. So we've gotten the rules out of the way. Let's look at question number 2. Name a famous train that is pictured in one of All Sorts videos. Famous train.
Thomas.
Thomas.
There you go.
I've been around little kids too long.
Ooh.
Famous train.
It's a famous train. It's a famous train in the UK, but it's very famous.
BC Truck says kale is not supposed to be eaten by humans. That and turkey bacon. Hey, Barrow Boy Woods, how are you? Glad to see you.
Famous train.
Thank you, Delith. You have a good evening. Thank you for stopping.
Yes.
I'm thinking Barrow Boy Woods might know it.
Last Train to Clarksville. No.
It's a good song, though. Is that the Monkees? I think that was the Monkees that did that. OC and T?
No, that's not it. Can I put the name of the video? Sure, Bob. Go ahead. Put the name of the video. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You can't put a link, but... We're doing good here, Bearer Boy. Michelle thinks maybe you know the answer to this trivia question.
Ozzy's Crazy Train.
Thank you, Grandpa's Place. I thought it was. And I was around when the monkeys were around, too. No,
the little
Coco.
engine that could.
Did you want me to put the name of the video in?
Oh, we got it.
Barrow Boy got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he got it.
Barrow Boy Woods got it.
Whoa!
You were right. He would know.
Yes. He would know. Yes, he would.
Okay.
I think actually, it's also made famous in a Thomas video, The Flying Scotsman. I think.
It very well could.
But perhaps.
Yeah, it could have.
Okay, Barboy, please send us an email with your mailing address to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. And thank you for playing, and you will get a $2 bill in the mail.
Oh, yeah, Grandpa's Place. I mean, a lot of those bands were just made for TV shows. Wasn't it Michael Nesbitt? His mother is the creator of Whiteout.
Yeah, one of them is.
It's Michael Nesbitt.
Okay.
His mother was the creator of Whiteout. Hogwarts. Isn't there a movie with Hogwarts in it? Oh, what's that series that lady wrote?
Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Thank you.
Harry Potter.
Yep. Cool.
So your growing season is officially over up in Canada. You can't do a fall garden.
Yeah, it is. It is. See, I wouldn't be able to do a fall garden, because of the rules in my permit. So my permit is May 1st to October 31st.
Okay.
So, you pay $87 for 6 months, so yeah, the growing season is over.
Okay. Now, in looking at some of your videos, I noticed that you almost have like boxes for your garden beds.
Yes.
Boards on the side.
Yes, it's to suppress weeds, and I'm really the only one on my garden allotment that does that. When I first started to do that, I got a lot of questions from my neighbors there. I do the no dig method. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you do have to dig things, but I just layer. I layer boxes, pop grounds, compost. I just keep layering it. And
lasagna method.
Yeah. Yes, lasagna gardening. That's right, Daryl. It works for me. I don't really have the time to go weeding, but if you see my first video of the year, it was full of weeds. I didn't close my garden allotment properly the previous year because I had my gallbladder out, okay? So I couldn't lift anything. I couldn't do anything, and it just went to seed. It was just awful. So, yeah, I just layer the boxes. And you can get, what they are the big 4x4 square cardboard that you could get at Costco or any grocery store. So, yeah, that's what I use.
Go ahead.
BC Truck is asking, have you ever had any of your harvests go missing, or is everybody pretty honest?
Most of the people are pretty honest, but I've had, some tools go missing. But I had one person that gardened beside me that said, you plant for yourself, you plant for the critters, and you plant for the thieves. So I really have never had anything stolen. I've heard of people having pumpkins stolen and whatnot, but I've never had anything stolen that I know of. So, there is a chain lock. It's a good place. Not bad.
How far off the road?
I leave my tools.
How far
it's safe
off
for the most part.
This?
Sorry?
How far off of the road is this this garden is?
Well, it's pretty far off the road. I would say it's maybe a 5 to 7 minute walk from the sidewalk to the gate. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you're hauling compost in a wagon.
Oh, you betcha.
Okay. So, but I'm lucky. Like I said, I live very close to it. People who garden at that allotment take public transit. They live in different areas. I am really lucky that I can just walk. It's really ideal for me. So, I have a weed whacker as well. I bring a weed whacker. And I think, the difference between this and what you would have like an allotment in the UK, which they're very popular there, is people there, they have sheds. We have nothing. You can't build a shed. You can bring a plastic box. I collect white buckets, 5-gallon buckets, but you can't build anything. It's really bare bones, basic. It's the land and nothing else. There is a water pipe there, which people use, and people are really good about the water. They tend not to waste it because people really want to do their business and get home, right? It's not like standing outside and putting the sprinkler on and forgetting about it. You garden and you leave. So, yeah, it's a pretty good place. One day I'll go in there after the terms of my permit say I can go or before, but I'm just not comfortable to do that right now. So.
Well,
what can I
do
say?
you have desires to? I'm going to say to move elsewhere, to perhaps move out of the city and have some property.
Not necessarily, Daryl. Not necessarily. I would, dream of that. But my situation is, being close to what I need to be. It works for me. So probably not. If I won the lottery, yeah, of course I would. But where I live, I can afford to live. I don't pay much property tax compared to some other condos in Toronto. This is a very humble condominium. I would describe it as a bottom of the market condominium. When you see some of the buildings in Toronto, they're very beautiful. This has low property tax. I don't think I could afford the property tax in a house. So this is what I can afford. So I am content here. It's home. Definitely.
So you don't have these off-grid desires where you just live off the land and...
No. If I have the money, like if I could afford to move, perhaps. But hey, I'm just staying in reality here. This is really what I can afford. So I live very close to public transit. For my job, the doctor, everything is just very convenient. So, yeah.
Backwoods Rays wants to know what's
I
the
love
best.
watching videos about doctor. Right?
Yeah. Backwoods Rays is asking what's the best thing you have done with the powder as far as cooking with your kale powder.
Sorry, what's the what?
What's the best thing you've done with the kale
I will
powder?
put it in pasta. I'll put it in pasta. I typically Every morning I have a smoothie with a lot of nutritious things in it. And my main reason for the kale powder is for the smoothie. But I'll use it in cooking. And, pasta along with pesto, I will use it for that. But it is mainly for the smoothie in the morning. And I have all different types of powders. I made kale powder, arugula powder, I made mint and lemon balm powder. And that is really delicious, actually. So spinach powder, I've made so many. I love dehydrating. It is fun, so.
Big lady, I don't either. I'm too old to start living off grid. Nope, no way. Mm-mm.
I don't know if you're looking at the chat, Michelle, but somebody said their taxes were $57 a year, and somebody said they were $44 a year for
Mapleberry says theirs are $44 for 70 acres.
For 70 acres.
So I said I want to move in with them.
Oh, 44,000 or $44?
$44.
4,400?
No,
$44.
Yeah. Wow.
Grandpa's place pays $400 a year for 12 acres.
Yeah, Grizz, you're right.
Wow.
Anymore, it is easier to live off a paycheck than it is live off the land. Got that right.
Yeah, I pay between $1,200 and $1,300 a year, and that apparently is cheap around here. Yeah.
Well, even Grandpa's place, he only pays $400 a year for 12 acres.
Wow, that is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, really, I can't afford to live anywhere else. These taxes are cheap here. In this context of Toronto, this is a very good price. So, yeah, I can't afford property taxes in a home around here. That is for sure. Yeah, we see the chat.
And of course, that's where you grew up. So, change is hard.
Bob pays $1,500.
It is hard.
40 acres. Bob, you want to sell? You want to sell 5 acres?
Wow. And I pay like between $1,200 and $1,300 for like a space in the sky. Like just this 925 square foot condominium. Wow. Well, that'll tell you.
Well, anyway, I guess the point I was getting to, Michelle, is that it's not necessarily as expensive as you think, but
yes,
a person has to really want it, and they have to make changes in their lifestyle to obtain it. So.
Definitely, and I think though, as you would get older, I mean, there's a period in your life where you might want to do that, but as you get older, sometimes things become harder.
Well, you still have a long ways to go on that. You still have a long ways to go.
I do.
Yeah.
I think so. I hope so. But I don't know if I want major change right now. Before I lived in this condominium, before I bought this condominium, I moved so much. And when I came here, I just settled. So I kind of just like no change, It's comfortable.
Well, I know this past weekend.
And I did have. Sorry.
This past weekend we did
crazy weekend.
We did an interview with Off Grid with Doug and Stacy, and I don't know if you've ever seen their channel or not.
Oh yeah, I have seen their channel, definitely.
But I mean, here's a guy that built you might as well say it's a tiny house, a log home. Built it in 90 days, and they just totally moved off grid. I mean, he was very successful at what he was doing in town, had a successful business, had people working for him, and just basically said, I've had enough of paying all these high taxes, paying all this stuff, being told what I can and can't do. So they moved, what was it, an hour and a half away or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about an hour and a half away. So they moved, and they've not looked back. So.
Yeah. You know, that is a big thing, being told what you can and can't do. You know, it's, there's a lot of rules living in the city. It is, that's one good reason, definitely, to go off grid, because there's just so many constraints. I feel strangled sometimes with lack of choices. You know, you can't do that. You can't do this. If you want to cut down a tree, you need a permit. Look, I love trees. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, in our parking lot, we have some pine trees that drop sap and pine cones on top of cars, right? So whoever gets that spot, you know, is going to get their car damaged. But no, could you cut down that tree? No, you can't cut down the tree. You know, trees have more rights in Toronto.
Where's Half Acres? Half Acres Dreams asking, what do you do for a living?
Well, you know, I'm probably not going to be specific. I work in a job that is typically not a public sector job, but because my employer is heavily government funded, it is a public sector job. So I kind of, you know, that's all I want to say about my work, you know. So I've been in my job, though, since 1989.
Wow.
So I've been in that same job, now in different locations for the same employer. Since 1989. So, yeah, it's a unionized job. It's a public sector union, and my job is heavily funded by the government of Ontario and the city of Toronto. So, yeah.
So, Michelle, do you do anything with essential oils or some of the other, I'm going to say...
I do. I do use some essential oils. I take sage oil under my tongue for menopause, and I use lavender oil. I use fir oil for cleaning and deodorizing things. Yeah, I typically when I clean, it's not with chemicals. Where I can avoid using chemicals, I really try to avoid it. So I use oil of oregano. You know, I put that in my smoothie. You know, this time of year, I've been visiting a family member lately, and I want to stay very healthy. And that's what I try to use some of those things to stay healthy. Definitely, you know. I think it helps. So.
And somebody wants to know if you're on Facebook.
I am on Facebook. Yes. Not as all sorts, though. I haven't married Facebook and YouTube. You know, I don't post my videos on Facebook. I just haven't married it yet. I don't know if I will marry it. But I'm on Facebook as me. So, Michelle.
Hey, well.
Next Monday night, everybody put your kitty cats in locked rooms.
Yeah, next Monday night, Grizz is going to be the guest. So everybody lock up your cat.
Lock up your kitty cats.
So, Michelle, do you have you ever had wild game, or I know you're city girl, all that.
I've never.
Go ahead.
I've never had wild. I've never had it. No.
Okay.
No. I wouldn't even know where to get it around here. Yeah. You know, it's just. I'm sure there's places to get it out of the country, but not around here. You know. So.
In your area, is organic food a big talked item? I mean, you know, that they have special sections in grocery stores?
Yes, it is. In the typical grocery store that I would go to, there is not a lot. But there is another grocery store that I go to that is a little higher end. I can't afford to shop there, do a whole shop there. But if I needed something special, that's where I go. And they have a lot of organic. So typically the regular discount stores do not sell.
Okay, and
I'm sure in other parts of Toronto there is a lot of organic, but not really where I live. So, yeah.
Okay, and since you said discount store, I know that there's a number of stores in Canada that I'm going to say are cousins to stores here. Their names are slightly changed, but it's the same kind of store. Do they have Walmarts in Canada?
Yeah, we do have Walmart. Oh, yeah, we have Walmart.
Okay, so you have Walmart, you have
we
Costco.
Used to have Target. Oh,
Okay.
you're breaking up, Daryl. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so you have Walmart and you have Costco.
Yes. We used to have Target, but Target didn't last in Canada. And I think that's because Target opened in Canada when our dollar was high. There was a period of time where our dollar was high. That doesn't happen very often. Anyway, so a lot of Canadians cross-border shopped and loved Target. So Target opened up in Canada. But I think Canadians were disappointed with it because it wasn't what you were getting in the U.S. Target, right? So it closed. It didn't do very well. We used to have Kmart. I don't think we have Kmart anymore. So you have TJ Maxx and Marshalls. We also have Marshalls. But before we had Marshalls, we had Winners. And Winners is the same company as TJ Maxx. It's just the Canadian version of TJ Maxx and Marshalls. So now we have a lot of your stores.
The video you put out of canning supplies.
Oh, yeah.
I found that very interesting because I would not have pictured canning supplies in that type of store.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what's interesting, Daryl? There is a Walmart right across the street from that store. That store is called Canadian Tire. And that Walmart has nothing right now for canning. So where I live, Walmart is not the canning source. Now, I've been to Walmart in the U.S., and I have seen so much in your Walmarts. Not in Toronto. I mean, there's a bit, but certainly not as much as there would in the U.S. So, yeah, Canadian Tire, massive selection. Just massive, you know. So.
Now, you also have a store up there, I think, called Princess Auto?
Princess Auto?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay. But I've been told that a Princess Auto store in Canada is the equivalent to a Harbor Freight here. So it's
okay.
I'm going to say it's kind of a discount tool store, but obviously a lot of things are purchased there for, you know, a lot of people will get their tools and stuff there.
Yes. You know, we have Home Depot. We have Lowe's. Yeah, we have a lot of American stores in Canada. You know, that's just the way it is, right?
Sure.
So.
But if you haven't been there or been there recently, you have no way to know unless you ask.
Exactly.
BC Truck wants to know if there's any
we love
Canada.
Sorry?
BC Truck is asking if there's any Amish in Canada.
I'm not sure. We have Mennonites. Yeah, we have Mennonites in Ontario. I don't know about Amish. Yeah, I'm not sure. No.
Well, does anybody in the chat have any more questions for Michelle?
Yeah. Grandpa's Place, Noah's Ark. Yeah, we have our share of Harbor Freight items here too. Well, it's almost 10:30, and
well, thank you.
I have a 17-month-old toddler coming around 7:30 in the morning.
Yep.
Wow.
Have a grandson going to stop over and terrorize Grandma
For a couple hours. I'm just so excited.
I'm going to be hiding.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I'll let him find you.
So, anybody else have any questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Well, you are more than welcome.
Thank you for doing it.
I apologize for whatever issues we were having right at the beginning. We've had a couple ongoing. We have one right now.
Apparently, Daryl, your answer is
No worries.
yes.
No worries.
Kelly says they do have Amish.
Okay.
Yeah, part-time Permies. I don't know.
Clarification.
Should be an interesting morning.
So, all sorts, we want to thank you so much. I think we've had a good time.
Thank you very much. I've had a good time too.
Anything
You know,
want to
this
say?
is very new for me. I've been live one other time. So, getting used to this, right? So thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and maybe we can do this again here in the future.
Thank
So,
you.
we don't
I
have
would love that.
anything else. I guess we'll wish everybody a wonderful week.
Grandpa's Place, you're right. And this is my youngest
night,
son's
everybody.
baby. Have
See
a
you
good
next
evening.
Monday night.
Yep, we'll be here next Monday night with Grizz.
Yep, in the
He's
chat.
our
I'll be in the
guest.
chat.
And tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard is Daryl's editing class. So stop on by if you have any questions on any computer-related question. You should got to go to.
All right. Thanks so much, folks. Have a great week. See some of you tomorrow night, I hope.
Thank you.
And Michelle, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daryl and Cheryl.